When did a family rule end in disaster? My father decided that each family member should have specific years when they couldn't speak at all. During our silent years, we could only communicate through written notes he'd grade for necessity. Back before he came up with his brilliant idea for silent years, my father was already obsessed with using our voices against us. He'd record every conversation he could in the house and then play them back at dinner, critiquing our word choice or calling us liars if we said something that wasn't completely factual. He once made my sister Claire eat dog food for a week because she said she was hungry as a wolf. When Mom defended her, he made her sleep on the floor for showing disloyalty. Claire and I learned early that Dad didn't see us as his children but as walking, talking disappointments, and that was only until he figured out how to make the talking part stop. When I was 14, Dad announced his newest system for building our character and creating household peace, rotating silent cycles. Each family member would spend 3 years completely mute, communicating only through written notes that he would grade for necessity. You'll be silent for the next 3 years, he told me. Then Claire for 3 years after that, then your mother. He handed me a notebook and red pen. Your voice stops today. Any sound you make adds a month to your sentence. Any note I deem unnecessary adds a week. Speaking builds weakness. Silence builds strength. Claire and I looked at each other in horror, but we knew there was no way out. You didn't argue with our father. Dad had thought of everything to enforce the silence. He installed recording apps on my phone that ran constantly, paid my teachers to report if I spoke at school, and bribed kids in my class to text him if they heard my voice. And he caught me whispering to myself in the bathroom once, just saying, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here to myself to try to maintain my sanity. He added 6 months to my sentence. He burned my guitar when he thought he heard me humming. He gave away my dog when a neighbor claimed they'd heard me call its name. The fear of what he'd do next kept me silent even when he was miles away, and so every interaction became a written negotiation. I carried notebooks everywhere, writing what I absolutely had to communicate. Dad graded my notes every night with a rubric he'd created. Was this information essential? Could you have communicated through gesture? Did this exchange improve anyone's life? Most nights I failed, and he added more time to my silent hell. Mom and Claire would beg my dad to let me speak, even though he kept punishing them every time they tried. They still never gave up, even when I tried to beg them with my eyes because I couldn't stand watching them walk around covered in bruises for disrespecting Dad's rule. Claire always tried to help, becoming my voice when she could. She'd translate my gestures, speak my written words aloud, include me in conversations, but her turn was coming up fast, and with all the extra time Dad had added to my sentence, I wouldn't even be able to be her voice like she was for me. After over a year of silence, I decided to try reasoning with Dad through written argument. I spent weeks crafting the perfect letter about how the silence was damaging my education, destroying my social development, and causing permanent psychological harm. I included research about language development in teenagers, testimonials from teachers about my declining grades, and evidence that enforced muteness could cause permanent vocal damage. I argued that I'd learned whatever lesson he wanted to teach, and that continuing would only create lasting harm. Dad read it thoughtfully, nodding at certain points. Getting my voice back was so close I could practically feel it. Then he said, compelling argument. You've proven the power of written communication. Your sentence is extended 6 months for trying to manipulate your way out of commitment. I wrote frantically, explaining that wasn't manipulation, just logic. He responded, now it's 9 months. Every note protesting adds 3 more. I stopped writing. Mom and Claire saw my face and started crying. They'd had so much hope my plan was going to work. Dad smiled like he'd taught me something profound. The extended sentence broke something in me, and I stopped writing altogether, even for necessities. When teachers asked questions, I stared blankly, and when Mom offered dinner choices, I ate whatever she gave me first. Dad saw this as growth rather than surrender, and bragged to Mom and Claire about my perfect understanding of silence economics. My total silence meant I couldn't communicate when things went wrong. I watched Mom collapse from her diabetes because I couldn't tell anyone she'd been forgetting her insulin, and I watched Claire's boyfriend shove her because Dad would mark any note about it as gossip rather than necessary information. Dad started engineering tests where staying silent meant letting bad things happen. He would start small kitchen fires to make sure I'd sit quietly and watch them burn, and he would hide Mom's heart medication to see if I'd break silence to reveal where I'd seen him put it. He kept his red pen ready, eager to add months if I made even the smallest sound. 2 years and 8 months into my silence, I watched from the garage as Dad worked under his truck. When I saw that it was about to slip on the jack and crush him, I stood there, opened my mouth, and said nothing. The truck dropped and crushed him instantly. At the funeral, I kept practicing my silence, but after months of therapy, I was finally ready to say my first word. Finally.